Hello everybody, welcome to WhatCulture Gaming. I'm Scott, joined by Ewan.
Hello.
Ewan, sir, there are all sorts of leaks continuing to come out. It seems like because of E3 not really happening, that everyone's just kind of going, here's everything we had in some sort of form. And there's various games to break down because of it. We should start with Injustice 3.
Yes, there was the poorest leaky season as well, and truly upon us, for better or for worse. Obviously, going back to the news from yesterday, but so this has actually come out on 4chan. A few websites have run with it. I know, take all the salt, take all the sass, and just dollop it all over this rumor because
everywhere.
It might all be bollocks. I don't know, but anyway, according to this post that emerged on 4chan yesterday, Injustice 3 is coming. We kind of already knew that would be the case anyway. However, it's not going to be shown in June. If you recall the other month, when E3 was cancelled due to the ongoing situation, Jason Schreier confirmed that WB were planning to unveil all sorts of different, projects that they had in the works, including WB Montreal's Batman game, including Rocksteady's DC game, and other such things, which we'll come to later in the same leak. But the post says that Injustice 3 won't be shown in June, but that it is the finale of the trilogy. There'll be 2 story modes. It'll be the first of the Realm next-gen release, which is kind of a given everything that's going on right now. Some characters will include John Constantine. Yes, it is pronounced Constantine. I can't be bothered telling you all how wrong you are. Huntress will be in the game. Penguin will be in the game. I imagine he'll be there with his umbrellas going, wah! Wah, which will be pretty fun. Etrigan, he's really cool. He rhymes all the time. He speaks in rhymes. So his whole thing is that he's like gone, the form of man. Rise the demon Etrigan, and then that's this whole thing. So if you really wanted to do a modern hip version of Etrigan, make him a slam poet or some sort of rapper. Killer Croc will be in the game. Zatanna will be in the game. And the next 2 picks are a little less conventional. Dr. Manhattan, who would just win. I don't see how you make a fighting game with Dr. Manhattan, given he'd just be like, well, you're dead now.
Maybe he's holding back or something?
He just points at you and just goes dead, and that'll be the game over. To be fair, I'd be very here for them to program all these different moves in for Dr. Manhattan, but he just has an automatic win button that you just press, and then everyone
also, for Dr. Manhattan, when they do the customization stuff, he'll have to have like 200 pairs of underwear.
Oh my god, we're going to have the first penis in a DC game.
Maybe a customizable penis?
Just Dr. Manhattan Wang. Just, I bet you one of his victory screens will be him on Mars, just naked, just looking, just vibing out, just like, but also they say that Neo/Keanu Reeves, continuing his current form of just appearing in everything, will also be in the game. It makes sense because Warner Brothers, I do believe, were the producers of the Matrix, weren't they? So, I mean, Neo would be a pretty good character to have in there as well. I'm kind of down for Keanu Reeves doing whatever, and I guess if you have John Constantine in it as well, you could have a Keanu Reeves alternate skin where he's voiced by him.
That makes me think that they would just you pretty much just play as Keanu Reeves, but his different skins when you pick the different movesets. Like you could have John Wick in there, Neo Constantine. Like why not throw Johnny Silverhand in from Cyberpunk while you're on? You might as well.
Oh,
Bill
Johnny
and Ted,
Utah.
I don't know.
He loves playing characters called Johnny.
He peels the skin off chicken. It's just what he does.
Exactly, and there's also I love that quote, for God's sake. Mortal Kombat 11's Combat League will be called Infinite Crisis here. Don't worry, it won't be as bad as the actual Infinite Crisis comic, I assure you all. That's a reference to people who are dorks like me. And then the villain of the game is Necron, who I believe is a Black Lantern. I probably should have just double-checked that, but the name rings the bell as, the character from Blackest Night, which is one half of this 2-part event that Jeff Johns did in 2008-2009, where basically this new Lantern Corps emerged, and they resurrected all of DC's deceased characters to cause havoc, and there was a lot of emotional turmoil going on there. So interesting possible potential things. Again, obviously this could all be wrong. This could all just be big old fabrication. But at the same time, some interesting things to consider. And they also mentioned at the end that the release window currently being eyed is for 2022.
Sweet, because it makes sense. I mean, NetherRealm keep going back and forward between Mortal Kombat and Injustice, and it's just considering the superhero boom. Injustice 2 was so perfect as well. I thought that was like the best game they'd ever done until MK11 came along. But yeah, speaking of Mortal Kombat, one of the other leaks is they're doing a Game of the Year edition for Mortal Kombat 11. But the thing that makes me go, I don't know, is that it's apparently called Mortal Kombat 11 Aftermath, which I just think NetherRealm can do better than
just
that.
Call it Mortal Kombat 11. Wait, there's more?
We've got even more characters. So yeah, so well, speaking of that, there is a roster leak. Now, obviously with Mortal Kombat, there are the season pass stuff, there are little combat packs with a K, adding different characters into the roster overall. So for this Aftermath one, they want to do 2 more character packs, 6 new arenas, 3 new story chapters across 2 more years, which kind of seems like a hell of a lot, but I guess that would supplant the Mortal Kombat fandom whilst you do Injustice, so it also makes sense. And in terms of specific characters, you've got Takeda, Reiko, Quan Chi, Fujin, and Bruce Campbell / Ash Williams.
Oh, he's been heavily rumored for a while, hasn't he?
So Ash Williams has been, he's like the one remaining sort of celebrity guest character that they've been trying to get for ages. And according to the leak, there's apparently been contractual disputes with him, and apparently he's also been affected by all the ongoings in the wider world right now that we can't use the word for on YouTube, but you know what I mean. And apparently that's been affecting him as well. But Fujin, though, is the straight-up wind god, so I'm pretty game for playing as a big old wind god, because he tends to go hand in hand with Raiden as well.
That's what they call me after I go into Studio 1, having eaten Zapatista for lunch.
It's that or Bo Rai Cho. But and Quan Chi coming back as well is obviously a humongous deal. I love Quan Chi. I know he's a divisive figure from MK4, but I'm always a big fan. The thing that isn't on here, personal grievance, is Onaga isn't on. He's the Dragon King of Outworld, and he's not been back since Mortal Kombat Deadly Alliance. Only I care about him, but he's never on anything, and it annoys me.
When did Deadly Alliance come out?
2002 or something? I've been waiting a long time.
You're fighting that battle for a long time, Fred.
Oh my god, he's a Dragon King, and they won't put him back in. So, not to worry, you've got another big thing, and then I've got another game after that.
Yeah, so for some context, I've actually been writing, I actually published a big old Batman Arkham article on whatculture.com/gaming. You can go read right now, all about basically discussing all the different things going on with WB over the last, decade, really, of all the cancelled games. It'll be a video soon. But fittingly, to tie into with the publication of my article, I assume, this 4chan leaker has basically said, echoing some rumours that we've heard beforehand, he mentions that the new Batman game is coming this year. Roger Craig Smith and Troy Baker will return to reprise their roles as Batman and the Joker respectively, which we kind of thought was a given anyway. It will be a soft reboot. It won't be an Arkham title, so it ignores previous plots, and that kind of ties into the rumour we had from Geeks Worldwide in February, where James Sigfield said that the game is going to be a reboot and it's all the start of Warner Brothers' new attempt to get a new DC game universe, probably because they find the Arkham branding, even though it is compelling, to maybe be a little bit cumbersome and laborious in terms of actually integrating it into everything. But apparently gameplay mechanics from Arkham Knight will carry over. Robin, Nightwing and Batgirl all playable. It'll be the largest open world Gotham City yet. Vehicles are in, but no vehicle battles, again kind of echoing the thoughts we had on the Bat Cycle from the cancelled Damian Wayne game, which was said to have been one of the things they carried over into their new produced project. Some villains include Joker, Harley Quinn, the Court of Owls, Ra's al Ghul, Penguin, Riddler, Dollmaker, Clock King, and Black Mask. And again, it'll release late fall 2020. Or
Clock King?
Mate, Clock King's amazing. Right, no, sorry, I can't stand for any Clock King slander. He's like just absolutely great. He keeps time immaculately. He has a big arrow like clock thick. The hands of a clock. That's what you call it. It's a clock hand. He has one of those like cane type things. And if you ever see Batman animated series, he has a really, really snobby accent. And I just imagine maybe them doing some sort of Clock King like trials in the game, kind of like how you had the Riddler mechanics. Obviously, Riddler is said to be in this one as well, because of course he is. But yeah, Clock King is a great character to have in this game. And again, it's kind of an interesting thing here. You know, we've had the leaks from, well, not the leaks, but the actual teasers from Montreal for the past 8 months now, I want to say. You had the first big factional thing, which was the Court of Owls, and then another one, which was the GCPD, and we've had images of the League of Assassins and stuff. So again, that makes sense why Ra's al Ghul would be in there, makes sense why the League confirms, mentions Court of Owls as well. Penguin, I guess, could have his own faction, possibly. Black Mask too, I imagine, they're all crime bosses vying for different territory. And yeah, I have some thoughts that I will leave from this video for a while, but yeah.
Oh man, we'll do follow-ups and stuff on it. I am holding out hope that it's in some way or form they've managed to do the rumoured holdover game design thing from Shadow of War. The idea that the next Batman game would carry on where there was an old Batman prototype that then became Shadow of War, where you were in control of different factions and playing them off against each other and kind of trying to do this whole city takeover thing where you're using some sort of toxin or chemical or whatever it is to control different gangsters and make them all fight each other. I want Shadow of War with Batman. That would be brilliant.
I think the thing that this is all pointing towards is WB's, again, I mentioned it in the article or the video that will be coming out soon, so it's all part of their pivot to monetizing their games post-launch, and it's no coincidence that the last few DC titles that they've cancelled were single-player only ventures, and there are still rumors going around currently that this game will be co-op, and the idea of, having a constantly a factional conflict going on in Gotham, I wouldn't be surprised if that's something they can sustain post-launch. Maybe you team up with different, members of the Bat family who have their own different gear and skins to go take down all these different criminals. So all sorts of different things to consider here. And I definitely think the factional conflict is pretty much good as confirmed at this point. Which is, again, with the whole rumor here, it is basically echoing things we've heard apart from mentioning certain villains.
I'm so game for them doing the thing that the Avengers is apparently doing as well, in terms of just randomly messaging you and just being like, hey, by the way, such and such is loose in the city right now between the hours of 2 and 4. Why don't you go take
I'm
them
looking
down?
forward to you waking me up at 3 o'clock in the morning and start doing your best Thor voice.
Clock King's escaped again. We need to go get him.
Yeah, exactly.
He's telling time too well. So the last leak is about Hitman 3, which I think kind of flies under the radar, but both of the new Hitman games are the best Hitman games by far. They're absolutely phenomenal. So yeah, Hitman 3 apparently continues the general idea of carrying across the levels from the first game again. Hitman 2 retroactively applied its new mechanics to the original levels. You could then hide in different spots and things that were sort of plugged into those original sets to create a bigger set of levels overall. Apparently they're carrying that forward again. So that in total you'll have 29 locations, including everything from Hitman 2 and 1, and 3 missions will have optional co-op, which is quite interesting. I don't know who else you would play as. Another bald man. Maybe Jules.
It's called the Bold Cinematic Universe. You'll get Bruce Willis in there, and he'll just be like,
Andy Murray pops in.
Come out to the coast, get together, have a few laughs. And
do something like that. But they've been experimenting with the contracts mode for a while in terms of just setting up different kills for each other, and they sort of had this almost Death Stranding disconnected co-op multiplayer type stuff before. So maybe they would finally zone in into a co-op mode. And the release date for that is holiday 2020 in theory. So that seems pretty damn soon.
Yes.
But they've had plenty of time. So
I mean, I think the thing that with all these rumors, and certainly what Sony mentioned yesterday about bringing, obviously for different reasons, they have Last of Us Part 2 and Ghost of Tsushima coming out in summer, is that the supply chain is starting to get back to normal. So I think we can maybe, I remember at the start of the year people were prophesying doom for the idea of we'll be having any regular releases for the end of the year, but it's looking as though things are getting somewhat back to normal in terms of the supply chain. So I think we could probably expect those games that are scheduled to come out at the end of the year are rumored to actually follow through and release on time. Probably.
I hope so. I mean, there are a bunch of different shows that were scheduled for the end of the year are now back on for September and onwards, so we'll just have to wait and see. But all of these seem pretty promising, especially the Injustice 3 thing. But let us know what you think down in the comments below of all these potential games that are coming and who would you like to see in Injustice 3. For now, I've been Scott from WhatCulture.com.
And I've been Ewan from WhatCulture.com.
I will catch you next time.
Bye.